I don't know, sometimes you feel like a total waste of space, really, when you look at people who have proper jobs. And then you go, what am I doing? I remember when I was younger, I was really disappointed that I had such a normal upbringing. And I was like, oh, I wish I had a terrible youth or something that I could draw on. I think that's a lot of bollocks, actually. I think it's what you have inside. How you're able to be creative, it needn't come from a place of pain. It needn't come from a place of sorrow or, I don't know, it just comes from the need to perform. You're just compelled to do it, you know? I just love stories. I love interesting characters. I love people behaving in a strange way. I love when you go, why is that person behaving like that? So transgression is much more interesting than somebody who does the right thing all the time. As an audience member, I find that much more interesting.
When the real drama kicks in, when the stakes are raised, which to me, you know, that is real drama, when the stakes become about kind of life and death. You're fully invested in these characters.
People need to go to the pictures, and people need some sort of escape. Artists don't let people down like politicians let people down, and bankers let people down. They follow the work, they fluctuate, but they keep making it. They keep trying, and they keep giving some sort of sucker, I think, you know. I foolishly decided to pursue a law degree. While I was playing music, I was playing in a band, and I just started acting then. Those two things were happening. They became much more important than going to college. I didn't really go in at all, and I failed gloriously in the first year.
If you ever were cruising in your career and felt sort of confident in everything that you did, then there would be no challenge and no excitement and no danger. It has to feel a little dangerous, I think. Yeah. You have to feel, certainly at the beginning, I don't know if I can do this, and then you go at it. And that drives it, that gives you the hunger and the energy to go at it. I feel I've been lucky in that I've moved always between theatre and television and movies. So if one avenue got a little clogged at one point, I could just jump into another avenue. And I probably have done that in the past. And I think I've always felt that if anyone would say to any artist, we love that, can you do it again? Right, which is, you know, and that happens not just in our business, but it happens if any time there's a potential to something being commodified or being repeated. I think the artist or the creative person can
the other direction, and
yeah. But luckily, I would always jump from one to the other. So yeah. I've never felt that way. And re-collaborating with people is always really good for your creative soul. Like,
yeah. You know, I wonder about back in the 70s, like when people came in to see a movie just totally. And it was like a fresh experience. It must have been very, very exciting. But nowadays, everybody's just blogging about everything. So you're kind of expecting stuff nowadays, which is a bit of a shame, I think.
I guess I'm interested in duality. I'm interested in contradiction. I'm interested in light and shade. I'm interested in the kind of in-between things of human behavior. And, you know, villains or heroes don't really interest me. It's that world of in-between. And I think we're in a good time for telling stories about characters like that. I think people want three-dimensional characters in either film or television. And because none of us are simple and straightforward, all of us are complicated. And I think people identify with characters that, even though they may be heightened, certainly in people they're extremely heightened, but yet it is a story about a family and people connect to that. So yeah, complexity is essential in storytelling, I think.
If your job is to portray something truthfully and honestly, then if it's happening in front of your eyes, it helps you enormously, and it's a big advantage. So, you know, when the fires are flying over for real and the water's on fire and the destroyer is tipping and it's all happening around you, of course you're heading towards a more truthful response, you know. So it helps us, and I think it also helps the viewer.
Is there anything you ever find hard to understand about Tommy, or that you've struggled with how to play a certain aspect of Tommy's character?
You can't play a character, no matter how far away he is from you, without, you know, bringing something of yourself to it. And the more you play it, then I suppose the more part of you he becomes. He never seems to sleep, he never seems to eat. That sort of relentless drive is really hard here. You have to understand that he's formed by his experiences, you know, and he's a leader of men. Or there may be somebody that can just, you know, grab him by the ears and go, "You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay." I think the unafraid thing is quite powerful. That, you know, unafraid to die or accepting of death due to what he witnessed in the First World War. And he has seen things that no man should see and live with, and they all experienced trauma like that. And now we have a name for it, PTSD. But so yeah, unafraid, and I think he doesn't see a ceiling on what you can achieve in life because he knows that it can be snapped out at any moment.
When you're acting, there shouldn't really be any past or future. There should just be the present moment and full awareness, of what's happening in that present moment. So I tend not to intellectualize anything at that stage. It has to be purely instinct.
Actors do get treated, you're used to being in a kind of a bubble.
When I work very intensely and I get very heavily involved in it, and it's quite immersive. But then when I don't work at all for quite a long time, as long as I can keep it going. And then I go back into it really intensely. I couldn't work continuously. I couldn't go job to job. I don't have the capacity or the stamina creatively to do that. I need to rest after a job, sort of fall back in love with it again, because I'm always exhausted after work. And I'm like, that's it. I'm out. Leave me alone. And being an actor is quite, again, as you guys know, it's like, if you're not careful, it's quite infantilizing, because you're like, so I need a break from it because it is, it's a strange world and it's not real, and I love it. That's why having a family is so important, because they will always let you know about what real life is. And also, if you're going to represent the average person, then you got to live as best you can as an average person. I'm always very conscious of that and just want to kind of live as decent a life off screen as I can,